Welcome to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. Here's your host, Dave Snowberger.
Welcome back to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. I'm Dave Snowberger, joined today with Alicia Hooper and Marshall Tucker, and we've got the new guy back.
What's up, new guy? Welcome back,
Thank you.
slacker.
Yep, slack job. All right, let's get to it. Today we were talking a little bit about, you brought up a topic a minute ago. We're going to completely deviate from our huge agenda here and go with
I feel
work,
bad now.
life, home balance.
How to balance.
How to balance work, life, and home. Could you tell us about that?
Well, I was about to, but Alicia is over there just on the edge of her seat. She wants to talk about it so bad. So let's let her segue this into it.
Lounging on the edge.
So it's a different perspective that they shared at an ALC clinic, which is Associate Leadership Council, which is a Keller Williams thing that you have at each market center. I digress. So balance is over. It's a myth. Okay, if you look at a pendulum, if you say you're balanced, what does that mean?
You're dead in the water.
Yeah, because you
You're
stop.
Just no motion.
Done. So the idea is to create control on how far the pendulum
And
swings.
if you can't see it, she is swinging like a pendulum right now.
This is where we need
duck every time she comes left.
Wait, where's our video?
I'm
Yeah,
glad somebody said
Yeah,
that. I was
so-
like, you can't actually see your
I know,
little hand.
I know. But it totally helps with the scenario that I'm sharing here. So it's a controlled, comfortable swing as opposed to the chaotic, way too high, way too much.
Like my life.
That's the balance. It's not, I don't know if I'm explaining it well. It was so powerful.
No, yeah, that was very impactful.
Perfect.
I want to run out and shake up my balance right now.
Right.
So
in my
you
work
say it
life-
best. You say it best when we go and we do our recruiting.
Oh, yeah. You can have unlimited income potential or you can have a flexible work schedule. You can't have both, at least starting off.
Hoo-wah.
Boom.
And most people, I mean, you sit in front of a room of new agents and you ask them that, hey, why'd you get into real estate?
Flexible schedule, unlimited income potential.
Yeah.
I asked that the other day in a room, and that's exactly how it went.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
the person walked right into it.
Yeah, and they have no idea.
Oh, they have no idea. And so, and really, that's my thing. I guess if I think about that, I'm like, oh, okay, what's my work-life balance? Work/life, personal life balance. I don't know if I have one. I mean, I'm constantly at work, and I knew it was going to be this way for the first few years I was in real estate, and now it's coming on 6 years and it's still that way.
Right.
However, that's what I like. That works for me. Chaos works for me a little bit better than it works for other folks.
Well, and when you're passionate about what you do, it just naturally comes out in every conversation that you have. Whether you're having fun at a UT game or literally at an open house.
How'd you know what you stuck on my face?
Oh, yeah, I'm all about you, man. I know the
behind
snow.
you.
I know the snow.
Throwing peanuts at you.
That was Chris Ayala. Shout out Chris Ayala.
Yeah. But, I mean, your passion, it just automatically comes out if you, yeah.
No, I get it. Go ahead.
You do have to set limitations. There are people who don't understand, or they get caught up in the hustle and they got to grind and got to keep going and going. And you can push your body too far, especially if you don't have experience pushing your body far. I had a coworker, I think I mentioned this before in another story, kept pushing herself, and we had a significant amount of work to do. So she kept going and going, and she already had some pre-existing health issues. And I said, hey, slow down. Just keep a good even pace, because pushing that hard with your health, you're going to hit a wall. On the other side of the wall is a cliff. You'll fall off that cliff, and it takes a significant amount of time for you to recover to get back to any production level that is a quality level of production. So there's pacing yourself, but you can pace yourself at a higher level, as opposed to just trying to sprint the entire time.
Are you sure you're new?
That's the tortoise in the hair, man.
That's pretty wise,
My
man.
kid knows that story.
And so we do this stuff in the
Steady
military.
wins
Like,
the
you
race.
can't- Yeah.
Did he share it with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
They read the pop-up book together.
See? But yeah,
Oh,
so
look,
like
the turtle's neck comes out.
Yeah.
but yeah, so I mean, like you just got to understand how much you can push, how often, how long. Like you really need to dig into to understand yourself better and listen to when your body's pushing back to slow down a little bit.
Right. And And I can agree with that. Right now, my whole thing is with how I run my business, I want results and I want them now. I want to implement something and I want to see immediate gratification for it.
Yep.
And a lot of times, if I'm doing it, I can see it that day, within a week, within 2 weeks. However, I have to keep in mind that I have other folks around me that don't want to work. It's not that they don't want to work hard. They don't really want to work. It's not as hard as me. What am I looking for here? Is they
We're
don't
all distracted at different rates, right?
Right. I
'Cause
guess
I go home, I got a 3-year-old, I got a 6-year-old.
right, and I always try to take that into account with you. Is that you have 2 kids, everything else. I know I have an 8-year-old at home. From what would you say there? Different marriage? No, I've never been married. Single ladies.
It's a bonus.
I'm not
Pre-existing
single.
Get a bonus
relationship.
child.
Pre-existing relationship.
Yeah.
So, there's an 8-year-old involved. However, she doesn't require any of my time, right? Those are your kids. You have to go home and tend to your 2 kids. I have to go tend to my dogs. Those are easy. I open the door, let them in the backyard. You can't do that with your kids.
I mean,
or maybe
you could.
can, but you
Yeah.
could.
I do, but it gets cold and it gets dark.
They're like, Dad.
1 more hour.
And they know the code to the door.
Yeah. Okay, so, work-life balance. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, when you first get in, it's overwhelming. I mean, there's no beating around the bush on that one. It is overwhelming.
In what way? What ways?
I mean, there's just so much information and so many different roads that you can take to get to success in real estate that you're hearing from like 7 different people, and then you're potentially trying those 7 different things instead of focusing on what's best for you.
Right.
So the balance is from a previous podcast is the schedule, right? So if you have it factored in that, okay, this is my downtime and nothing comes into that, like you have to have that white space on your calendar in order to do well.
Okay, let's do this real quick. Let's back that up a little bit, because you touched on something with me. Is that we've talked about this a few different times. We just did a podcast with Paul Campanero that was in here, really smart guy, but we were talking about really what to do once you have your license and what are the most important things getting into the business. So let's start with work-life balance here. All right. So let's put that over here on the side real quick and actually talk about what it takes that first year to be a successful agent, that first, year, that first 90 days. What do you do? I just got my license now. What do I do? What is the most important thing an agent can do? Okay, I'll answer that question. When they come into our universe, which is the Keller Williams United Group, when I recruit somebody in the team and we have conversations with them and we run them through some interviews, and then we decide this is the person we're going to move forward to ask if they want to join our team and give them an offer. What I say is the most important thing in the real estate business is learning scripts and learning what to say. Now, most people, when they hear scripts, their shoulders drop. They don't want to be scripted. They think it's fake. They don't want, there's no real buy-in there. They're like, oh, I can talk to people. This is easy. People really don't understand what this business is looking outside, from the outside looking in.
No, because all they know is HGTV. That's all they see.
Well, there's HGTV.
Well, they know their telemarketer scripts. Hi, sir. How are you doing today? Do you have health insurance?
Right.
No!
Things like that. And so it's more of just, it's not even what I call it the other day. I came up with something to try to take it away from scripts, but it was
conversation manual,
something like that. It was really just kind of the conversations around real estate and really knowing what to say. I mean, you don't know what to say to people when they ask you, "Hey, Alicia, I want to go see a house."
Cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean, you just what? Okay, great. So what do you go with? What do you lead with there? One of the first things I was taught was, just taught you this the other day, but you didn't need to know it, but you asked kind of some questions, but who, what, where, why, when? How is a bonus question. Who, what, where, why, when? Who are you? Why are you calling? Where are you calling from, or where do you need to go? And how are we going to get you there? And why are you moving? And so now we can establish what's going on there, and you start having those conversations. And so when they say who they are, that can go, are they a buyer, are they a seller? So you need to know how to talk to a buyer, you need to know how to talk to a seller.
Right.
And so once you determine that, then there's more conversations from that. So it's all a big, nice trickle-down system of the conversation. So I think the most important thing is really that scripts and role play is getting in a room with another professional and really talking about these things that mean something to that buyer, to that seller that's going to call you, or you're going to meet them in an open house, or you're wearing a name tag and you're over at Starbucks and they see you and say, hey, you're in real estate, how's the market? And you just clam up, well, that would be, there's a script for that, and it's real simple.
Right.
It's the market's fantastic. Are you buying or selling?
That's right.
And it's kind of cheesy. However, it works. It starts the conversation. It's a question. Pretty much if you answer a question with a question, you're on point.
That's right.
So part two to that is the lead generation, right? And so one of the most important things is lead generation. So now you're really intentional about every morning coming in and learning your scripts and your role play, and you're being very intentional, and then taking that into lead generation. What is lead generation for you, new guy?
Calling and follow-ups. Well,
What does that mean? Let's go back to calling. What does that mean?
Finding people who are interested in buying and selling property. So we
Which
have
would be called a what?
Say again.
Which would be called a what?
Call a lead.
A lead. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So a lead is that. Most people in our business think a lead is a done deal, right?
Yeah.
A lead's not a done deal. A lead is just
Any person who is able to, an adult who is able to make a decision to buy or not buy,
or sell.
or sell, or invest,
Or not so.
Or
a
invest.
decision
Or
making
not
an
sell.
adult with some money.
A decision making adult would be good enough.
Well, for me, a lead is a client, so. I'm just
Oh yeah, no, look at you knocking them down.
Just
All right.
kidding.
So now we've got a lead. So now what's the most important thing with the lead?
Communicate.
Right. And,
A lot of communication.
Right. So what does that mean? To what? Ask questions.
Yeah.
More than likely,
To
right?
get a better understanding of where they're at. That's one of the big, one of your biggest uphill battles is just getting enough information to get them to move to the next step and continue on the process.
You want to use their information to paint a picture so that you can be clear about where you're wanting to go with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're coming from a place of contribution, you're able to guide, and your script, you're able to guide that conversation to where you want it to go.
Right. Give me an example of like a script. I mean, let's script play real quick. Just Marshall. So ring.
Hello?
Hey, I'm calling about your house on 123 Banana Street.
Yeah?
Typical agent, right?
Right.
I mean, that's what I would get if I would have called you 3 years ago, right? Now, with 3 years of intensive training of coming in every morning and being a professional and learning your scripts and knowing the things to say, I can call you now and say, ring.
Hello?
Not this is Marshall. You don't say
Hey,
that?
this is Marshall with KW United.
Hello, this is Marshall.
Hey, I'm calling about your house on 123 Banana Street.
Yeah? What are you talking about?
No, this is
I'm the
professional.
homeowner, ain't I?
No,
Oh.
you're the agent.
You're the agent,
The
you
listing
dope.
agent.
Oh!
Come on, man.
Well, we're going to have to cut all that out.
This is 100% staying on the episode. This is gold.
What a dope. All right, let's try this again.
I like how you're
Ring,
like 3
ring.
years later and he's like, hello.
Yeah, 3 years later, he's still a client. It got worse. This time he was like back in his chair, all relaxed out. Hello.
Yeah.
No, I always go back to when I'm talking to new agents. I goes back to the restaurant, the cheeseburger. So you're starting up a startup business, right?
Right.
And so now you have a building on the side of the road, and people are driving past it. Well, what does that mean? You got to have signage on it. So you got to start somewhere putting the sign on it. Then they walk into the building, and now what happens? They walk in there, they're hungry, and you look at them and hi, and it's a real awkward conversation. But then you get the script in there, and they walk in. You say, hey, how are you doing today? What can I get you? And they're like, well, a cheeseburger. Well, that could end right there as well. But then you're like, well, do you want fries with that? What do you want on your cheeseburger? What kind of drink do you want?
Some fries with that shake?
Yeah, you want some fries with that shake? So, I mean, there's got to be some kind of conversation there to facilitate it, to move them on down the line, to get their money and then get them out the door, and so that they're happy. And then they'll get home and find out they didn't get ketchup with their fries because you didn't fucking ask for it.
Oh, language.
Oh.
Dude, I don't cuss.
Language.
Man,
Well,
well,
it's,
super
you don't cuss
aggressive.
in your
There
market.
goes your Jim Rome
Wow.
quote
In your
earlier.
market.
I feel like he needs a cheeseburger.
This is real estate on the rocks, y'all.
Good thing you didn't quote Zig Ziglar, man.
you need a
Pass me the
Snickers?
bottle.
He needs a Snickers. You're not yourself.
So we can try that again real quick. 3 years later, you're the agent. Ring.
Hello.
Hey, I'm calling about the house on 123 Banana Street.
Yes. I still don't get it. You calling me?
You're the listing agent, homie.
Oh, I get it now.
Hell is going on here?
How many times you gotta say
little
that?
side
I'm
note.
in Fizbo mindset.
Little side
Oh
note,
my
in a
gosh.
conversation we had earlier, he specifically said, I don't cuss.
Yes.
Specifically.
Specifically,
Yep.
he said.
He said that's
Okay.
one thing about me is I don't cuss.
Well, I dropped
Dave,
it
before
because
you call him,
I was passionate.
you are the listing agent for Banana Street.
Okay.
Okay, we're doing a script practice.
Okay.
Role play.
Because now you know what to say. Because
'Cause
before
you're-
you answered
you're
the phone
seasoned.
like you just did.
Yeah.
Hello. That
For
was
the-
no exaggeration.
for the third
That's
time.
exactly how you answered the phone when I first brought you onto the team.
Oh, my
That's
Lord.
exactly how. Hey, phone's ringing. What do I do?
Yeah.
Say hello.
You
obviously.
answer it.
Right. Okay. I'm ready.
All right. Ring, ring.
Hi, this is Marshall with Keller Williams United Group.
Wow. Hey, Marshall. This is Dave. I'm calling about 123 Banana Street.
Hey, Dave. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Calling to see what's the price on that.
Oh, cool. Hey, did you see it online or did you just drive past it?
We drove past it.
Oh, you drove past
Yeah, I
it?
took a picture of the sign.
Cool, man. You live in the neighborhood already or are you just kind of coming to town?
No, we're coming to town. We're here for South by Southwest.
Oh, South by Southwest? Dude, that's such a fun event. I love that. I wish
First
I could
time.
go. Well, I wish I could go, man. I'll go with you and show you all the cool spots. But so cool. You coming down here for South by Southwest? Are you going to be having a job here or something? I mean, what's really bringing you?
Yeah, I'm kind of a freelance artist, so I can really live anywhere. But we're really liking Austin. So I just wanted to call, and I really just need the price because I just want to see what homes are going for in this area.
Well, you know, the homes can fluctuate quite a bit. Have you talked to a lender yet about your purchasing power?
No, but not really interested in that. Just really want to see what the home is going for.
Cool, man. Well, you know what? I'm in the car right now, and I'm not in front of my computer, and there's a bunch of us listing agents. So why don't you send me your email address real quick? I'll write it down, and when I get back to the office, I will send all that information over to you.
All right, man. See ya.
Hello?
You need right there. You need a big like. Leonard question. Obviously, I don't think it's going to go anywhere on that type of play. That wasn't the right one, in my opinion. It could have gotten you. But yeah, I'm a freelance person. I make
You
millions
push
of
it for
dollars.
the price really hard.
Yeah, it was because that's what I want. I want the price.
Yeah.
You know. So anyway, let's jump back on track here. What were we talking about?
Balance. Work-life
balance.
Yeah.
Back to what I was talking about then. That's boring.
Well, it was Marshall's idea. So.
Marshall's idea is boring. Work-life balance doesn't exist. Period.
Apparently,
you.
I'm a liar, too.
I'm telling you,
so-
it's a myth.
Yeah, it's a myth. I like Alicia's analogy on that.
Thank you.
But Marshall does a really good job. I think he does a really good job in balancing his life. And I'm impressed with him and I'm envious of him, the way his
Aw.
family dynamic works and with his kids.
That's
So,
amazing.
He's a good dad, and I know that.
Well, it's starting to, before you get home, you say hello to the kids because they're really excited to see you when you get home. You have dinner, and then you kind of handle some of that work that kind of follows you home. But she's been, really supportive of me, and now that she's kind of started her own eBay store, she's kind of feeling what I feel when she gets into that really stressed out situation where she needs to have something shipped out right away, and the kids are bothering her, and she's just like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna blow up!" So hey, just go into the room and shut the door. I got this, because this is what I want you to do for me when I'm on the phone with the client,
Right.
trying to write that off or something important is going on, and she gives me that 5 minutes. She knows it's better than having a fight, or just take 5 minutes and get it done with, and then we have our balance and we
Right.
back in the middle.
Nikki's been good for me like that. When there's a call or anything, if I've got to hop on it, they're pretty good at just kind of like zipping it, chilling the dogs out. And if I have to walk outside, the one that doesn't get it is Morgan. She wants to come out and just like play on top of my head. She wants to do everything. Like, why are you ignoring me? Why are you always working? I'm just like, someone's
So you can have pretty
yeah.
things. Go inside.
Yeah, exactly. So we can go on nice vacations.
That's right.
But so we've got the whole the scripts practice role play down. Now we're prospecting for leads. Now it's all about the follow up, right? So I've already gone into the follow up. No,
Nope.
Fortune
I'll
is
go
in
that
the
way.
follow-up.
That's right.
Fortune is in the follow up, just like Marshall said. One of the first times I ever heard that. I'm sure a bunch of brilliant people have said that, but
I
this
came
time I
up
heard
with
from
it.
Marshall.
As far as I know, I never heard anyone say it.
Yeah.
And so
He's
the
writing it
fortune's
down.
in the follow up. So, I think we should one of the next times really talk about follow up, and we can have a whole show on follow up because follow up is the most important thing in our game besides scripts to me, just because it's a numbers game. The more you follow up, after seven points of contact, that person actually, statistics start showing that person actually starts becoming your friend. They start expecting your phone call. If it's coming once a week, they expect it. Now they know your number. They know 512-920-Dave. Dave is calling in, and it's Dave on the other end, and they're gonna
Shameless plug.
yeah, they're gonna be expecting to hear about what's going on. Did any other homes in the neighborhood sell? Hey, what's going on? Am I the only for sale by owner in the neighborhood still? And they expect to see it. Or if it's one of my clients, they know every quarter I'm going to follow up with them and stay in front of them and stay omnipresent and say, hey, look at me. I'm an agent. If you know anybody out there that sells, that wants to buy or sell real estate, I'm your person. It might not be me particularly. It will be somebody on my team more than likely. However, my team's here to serve and to help you, and we want to bring you in. And so the follow-up game never ends. That never ends. Our lead gen can stop right now, and follow-up could carry us at least 6 months.
Depending on your pipeline.
Right.
Correct.
We have 4,000, 5,000 people in a database. We can make it go. We can just cut off everything coming in and just concentrate on that.
Sometimes
and we'll have a decent year.
Yeah, sometimes I'll go back 6 months to a dead lead and just text them and be like, hey, just curious, did you ever buy? And just kind of leave it at that. And then they'll text you back, oh, no, I'm still looking.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Hello,
No,
I'm
just
still
got
selling.
qualified finally.
And when you first get in and people talk to you about follow-up and everything, then you have some agents I have learned that are new to the industry have this mindset that I'm bothering them. You are not bothering anybody who is
Everybody's
motivated.
looking at me in
Yeah,
case you
new
guys
guy.
are wondering what's going on
Yeah.
in the room.
If they're motivated, there's no way that you can bother them.
No, and if they're truly a client, you're not
Right.
bothering them.
That's right.
And you're not irritating them. Anybody that tells you to F off or take a hike, that we're never
You don't
want to
work with them anyway.
No.
Going back to the mindset of abundance, there's plenty to go
Unless
around.
me, you call me and I tell you to F off, you probably still want to work with me.
The
Go
funny,
find people that you want to work with.
the funny thing is, out of all the conversations I've had, not a single person has been rude. I've had a couple people or several people be really nice and friendly, like, yeah, sure, click. And then I had one person Saturday when I was calling. He's like, oh, I don't need a realtor. Click. Like, dude, I literally have a client and who wants land. You are selling land by yourself.
Yeah.
And I had to follow up. I did follow up with him, and he's like, "Oh, well, okay, yeah," and started giving me this information, stuff like that. I'm like, "You could have just told me Saturday instead of hanging up." But no one's. And then one lady was combative who has a condo and didn't want to really show the property except on open.
There's
house.
nothing you can do about that. Once again, it's a numbers game.
But
Yep,
yeah, but everybody's been super friendly.
There's
So
plenty of nice guys out
So
there.
why are you getting in your own way?
because I do that sometimes. And that was the being inconvenient and bothering people because it annoys me when people do that. So I was projecting.
You're
And then it was-
projecting into, they show that that's really actually a part of ego. So
Yeah.
ego is your enemy, right? And so
Yep.
when you project and say that, oh, I'm not going to make this call because I hate when people call me, that's how you feel.
That's right.
That's not how anybody else feels. Well, you don't know if they do or not, and you won't know until you call them.
Well, why should they answer your phone call if you don't answer others? I talk to telemarketers. You never know what you're going to learn.
I kill telemarketers with kindness because I know how hard their job is.
Absolutely.
You know?
I get robocalled 10 times a day.
Yeah, and sometimes I think everybody in this room's heard me talk to an insurance person, like, hey man, you guys, you're getting your wires crossed. Like the same guy next to you just called me. Just called me. Like, can you do something about that? And I'll try to actually have a solution to the problem. Like, get my name removed, bro.
Right.
It's like I appreciate your job. I know that you're working hard over there. It's a numbers game for you. The more calls you make, the more whatever. But don't just goose me and then throw me back into the database.
Sir, I heard everything you said. Do you need insurance?
Yeah. And the guy right next to me. Yeah. So I know you told him no, but yeah. A guy called me today. He's like, "Oh, I'm so and
This
so
is the follow-up
insurance." I was
game.
like, "That's cool that you're calling me because I already have insurance with your company." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know how you made my list." And I was like, "Neither do I." But I bought insurance from your company, and that's who I've paid for the past 4 years. Well, I'll take you off the list. Half hour later, they call again. No one took me off the list. So
It's a working number.
we're never those people. And typically the people that we're calling around, our leads are to us is we have lead sources to where they're people raising their hands. They either come in on our website, then we call them to qualify. Nothing we do is a cold call.
Yeah.
Nothing we do at all. And people get that mixed up, especially
sure.
new agents, like, oh, I got to sit here and cold call. No, you don't.
Yeah.
If you're calling a for sale by owner or withdrawn or expired, those aren't cold calls.
No.
They're
They're hot.
Those are people that
Hot and
has
warm.
raised their hand and said, I want to sell, and I'm unable to sell. And a FSBO to me is a help wanted sign in the front yard.
Yep.
That's all
I
it
want to
is.
sell and I want to save the most amount of money possible.
Right.
But I can't do it on my own.
Right.
But I think I can.
Right. I'm going to try. I'm going to give it a whack.
I had the handful of conversations I had were great.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait.
No, that's
is that-
refreshing to hear
is that
because
easy to
going into
to
this,
begin with, it's like, why have I been avoiding this the entire time when the conversations were 99% good?
Right. However,
Me being hard-headed.
no, it's you being hard-headed a little bit, and that's just how it's never
Drunk monkey.
intentional.
Yeah.
It's the drunk monkey. It's whatever, but that's going to happen again. It's going to happen tomorrow when you're taxed with getting on the phone. You're going to have that call reluctance. It's a human reaction to that. It's not natural to hop on the phone and start disrupting people's days, right? And the phone to ring and you talk to these people. That's not a natural part of people's day. It's so typically you're a disruptor.
Right.
You're calling and saying, hey, I see you. You're selling a house over here and you have a script and a dialogue, and it's not, you're not reading from a board now, you've internalized it and it comes out very natural. However, the best way to help that person was through a script, and now you know what to say through process of elimination. You're not just going to call up and wing it every time. Your success rate would be 0 and you'd be out of business faster than anything.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a reason why there's 86% failure rate in this business.
That's right. And that's a really good point that you brought up about being a disruptor. So that's another good point to not take things personally, because you're calling, you have no idea what's going on in their world, and you just, shimmied your way in, and
You're just a voice on the other end of the line.
yeah. So don't take it personally.
And there's no face, there's no personality, there's no real anything to it.
Right.
Until you actually get to know them.
That's right.
And by the time that you get to know them and you get them into your car or you get them over to a house to show or a listing appointment, all those first conversations will be long forgotten.
Yeah.
Anything that you had they perceive it as a cold call. You called me and now you're meeting in my house and now we're signing a list agreement. Now we're at the closing table. Now we're giving high fives to each other. And now I just added you to my database. And in 7 years, you're going to do the same process. And in that 7 years, you're going to refer me everybody you know. They forget about that first call that you gave them.
Yeah.
And then one day it would be a laughing thing when you're out for a drink or you're out delivering your pies. You're out delivering your tchotchkes, your pop buys and things like that. And people tell the stories like, oh, how I met my realtor? He came and knocked on my door because I was for sale by owner, and I was silly enough to think that I could sell it in a slower market, a busy market, a hot market, whatever market.
Yep.
So anyway, lead generation, lead follow up, go on appointments. Now it's going appointment time, right? So we do all these things and we do them at a high level. That's going to result in going on appointments. What's an appointment to us is really, it could be coffee.
Yeah.
It could be coffee. It could be a drink.
Face-to-face?
Any kind of face-to-face meeting.
Yeah, any kind of face-to-face, belly-to-belly, that's an appointment. That counts as an appointment. Some people set their goals just around appointments. I need 10 appointments a week.
Yep.
I need 20 appointments a week, and then they execute on that. They know if they're going on if they book 20 appointments and they have a kept rate of 10, they look at that. What's 52 weeks times 10? So that's a lot of appointments. That's a lot of shots.
A lot of business. Yep.
That's a lot of shots at getting the puck in the goal. And that's ultimately it, is getting the puck in the goal is helping people through a transaction, getting
to the
them,
closing table. Yep.
Yeah. So, and then rinse and repeat, right? Well, I forgot to negotiate contracts. Contracts are really, we'll touch on that real quick and then wrap this episode up. But contracts is a big one right there. When I first got started, I knew that I didn't want to look silly in front of anybody. I know, too late.
So he pushed it on to Marshall.
Yeah.
It made Marshall look silly in front of everyone.
So I didn't want to look silly or stupid or I didn't want to look inexperienced, because there's nothing worse to me as looking inexperienced. And that played a lot with my ego, I guess. As I don't want to look experienced. I want to look like a professional. I want to look like I know what I'm doing. So I went out and I learned what I was doing. I sat there, I laminated the contract, the buyer's agent contract. I knew that I wasn't getting any listings. Don't fool yourself. I mean, you think you're going to go out and just get listings right off the bat. It's going to be a little bit harder for you to do that. There's a little bit of a power curve you're behind right when you come into this business just to go start listing property. Now, I'm sure somebody out there in the real estate on the rocks world, listener world, they'll disagree with that statement. But however, I would really like to know more about that, because what I saw getting into the business, and only speaking from my experiences, it was really hard to go get listings. So I knew that I had to perfect the buyers first. I had to get money in the bank, and how was I going to do that? I was going to work with buyers. So I went and I printed out a 1-to-4 residential contract. I laminated it at the broker. I had asked the front desk girl, she would laminate it for me. She did, and then I kept that by my bed, and every night I would read one page, front to back, front to back, front to back, front to back, up and down, up and down. I would read it, and I would take it in. Next night, page 2. And so when I got was about 12 pages in that thing now, about 12 days later or so, I would start over. And a lot of it is legalese. A lot of it's just nonsense you don't even need to know. However, I needed to know it.
Right.
You know, and now I know it. Now I know it well enough that I know what I don't have to go over when I'm explaining that contract to people because it makes no sense.
Right.
You know, there's just a lot of legalese in there to cover everybody's, you know, CYA, cover everybody's rear ends. However, that's what I did was I just started perfecting that contract. So when it was my first time to write a contract, I knew actually what I was doing.
It's awesome.
You know, so I would say that those certain things from the getting into the business, prospecting. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back to the what was the first one? Oh, scripts and role play.
Yep.
Scripts and role play. Then the lead generation. Then the lead follow up. Then the going on appointments, so set appointments, and then negotiating contracts. So by the time that you go through all those first 4 and you get to the negotiating contracts part, know what to say on there, know what to put on there, because when it's time and you're finally working with that buyer that says, hey, we want to put an offer on this one, and you look down and it's 0 days on the market in a hot market at 250,000. You're going to want to know how to write that contract.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. And guess what?
To the benefit of your client. Yep.
To write it strongly.
That's right.
Right, to the benefit of your client, and guess who's not going to be available to help you?
The vast majority of the agents.
Your broker.
Yeah.
Your broker will be out of town that weekend. Your broker will have his phone off on a Saturday night after you've just showed 15 houses. Your broker's got a life. They know that. They've been in the business for a long time. It's a hard pill to swallow, and I hope nobody disagrees with me too hard. But when I first got going, my broker was nowhere around.
Oh, my first deal, my broker was involved, and it was a Saturday.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
See, it's different for everybody.
That's
so
right.
my perception is a little different from yours. But yeah, I learned to write my first contract after studying all that stuff was what do I say here? I went and I Googled it and found it on YouTube, and somebody had actually wrote a Texas 1-4 contract and did it step by step because he cited the same things, that his broker was nowhere around and he didn't want that to happen to any new agent ever again.
Oh, wow.
And so I thought
That's
that was pretty cool.
We touched on this in the beginning too about leaning on other people. So find a mentor. In the Keller Williams world, you have a sponsor. So I leaned on my sponsor a lot. She helped me through a lot of my deals, and I still lean on her. I mean, she has more experience than I do, and you're always learning in this industry.
Oh yeah.
That is one thing they didn't say when I was first joining, is your sponsor, well, if you're a new agent, your sponsor should be somebody who's well-versed in the industry and who will actually dedicate some time to teaching you and not let you die in this industry.
Well, and every sponsor is different.
Yeah.
Right.
But you should hope to have
absolutely
and look for somebody who will actually be a mentor and help you out. Because had I had that, I think I would have started a bit better.
Yeah.
I was just like, hey, I'm doing this thing. And they didn't, they're up in another city. I think they're still in the business. We don't talk at all. And I had no coaching outside of I had a significant amount from the office, thankfully. Yeah. But when I was on the first deal, trying to get answers to questions, that's when everyone went radio silent. I thankfully had enough people I could message to get correct answers.
Yeah.
But people will it's almost like they're avoiding you when you really need them to fill out that contract.
You know what? I chalk that up to is they might not know it themselves.
True.
There's a lot of people in this business that don't know what they're talking about, that they play a good game. The market's been strong. So this market has made rock stars out of people that should not be rock stars. And I'm all about the abundance thing, but I'm also about reality. And I see the deals that come across. I'm primarily a listing agent. I list probably 10 to 15 homes a month. And so we take in a lot of deals and a lot of things that come my way. I question and I look down. We did this earlier. I looked at a license number and I can usually tell how it's written by their license number. And I sure enough saw a 6.8.
Yes.
I started with the 6.8 and I was like, oh, we got our work cut out for us on this one because we're gonna have to work the deal for her. So
man, that ain't always true though. Come on now.
Well, initially the first 3 pages in, we knew we were gonna have to work the deal for her, but hopefully she's not a listener. Anyway, we accepted your deal. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you very much for listening to this edition of Real Estate on the Rocks. Want to thank our sponsor, Guild Mortgage, Mike Harrell over at Guild Mortgage. You can find him off our website, realestateontherocks.com/Guild Mortgage. And then the rest of us, you can reach us at info@realestateontherocks.com. Alicia, Marshall, New Dude, We appreciate it. Let us know if you have any topics you want us to talk about. info@realestateontherocks.com. Oh, we want to ask for a 5-star rating. If we didn't earn it, don't put it on there.
Did your voice change?
It helps our numbers. We need to move it up.
Yeah, we need to move it up, guys. If you like what you're hearing, throw us a 5-star rating real quick, and we'll keep pumping out some content for you. Thanks again. We'll see you.
Bye, y'all.